everyone. Where's our little guys? There's our little guys. Welcome to this live stream. We wanted to simultaneously broadcast this to Steam, but it seems like that's always an extremely hit or miss thing. It either happens or it doesn't. And today, Steam is being finicky, and it wasn't, so here we are. All of the pencils for the pristine cut are done right now, so don't worry about trying to scratch your heads over what new content we're possibly adding from this illustration. We're just doing an extra fun background to show you what the whole process looks like for making art in the game. And I think there will be a sprite that goes on this too to show you how that works. So, welcome.
We sound a bit quiet.
We sound a bit quiet? Let me bump up the input. Music quieter. Yeah, I'll do both of those. Is this better? Is this better? Great.
Sorry, I'm pulling up reference on my phone so I get this right. I have to have a really light touch with a lot of the music's a little loud for me too.
I believe it being loud for us is different than it being loud for other people.
I want it to be quieter for me.
Yeah, I know. I'm adjusting that separately. Bubble Blobble is asking, do you guys have thumbnails you go off of? Do you want to show your little thumbnail for this?
Oh, I sketched one right here above the page. And I have one in my sketchbook as well, so.
I feel like Abby does very few thumbnails, though.
I do. I usually just rough it out to get kind of an idea of where I'm going to put things.
Yeah, an interesting little challenge that we have for marketing is there isn't a lot of concept art for us to share because it's a lot of like first drafts that are in the final version of the game.
Yeah, like the sketches are usually so loose that it's barely worth sharing.
Kane Mac says that this looks like a circus tent.
How strange.
That's strange. We already have a clown princess, Razor. See, that's what I've been saying. And what Nicole said. Cora Gary says, I think it's neat that you can see the sketch lines in some of the backgrounds and character art for Slay the Princess. I also think that's neat.
Good. I know some people can sometimes struggle with being distracted by things like little sketchy lines, but I think it's fun. I think it adds a lot of kind of energy to a piece.
I like how it's just going to look like we are talking the whole time because the pencil is talking into the microphone.
It's got a lot to say.
Crush Circuit says, "You're so confident with your lines. It's so cool."
Oh, thank you.
Also, Abby, I just tumbled. If you want to share that.
I do. Give me 2 seconds.
Blue sky too.
Done.
Thank you. This is a stream where I don't have to read lines that we wrote like 3 years ago for 4 years ago.
But you do have to read me chat.
Yeah, but that's a lot easier. I don't have to do a bad Dracula voice.
It was a great Dracula voice. You should be proud.
People are being very nice to Nicole right now. That's what's going on in chat.
Yay.
She's here.
Oh, hi, Nicole.
May I ask why you kept the deer in the stream layout? Kirill frames
The
it.
little guy. He's from
He's
our
a
game.
friend. Hold on. Make his art just like. That looks great. There's also a stream background that like we don't have that much control over. a very nice librarian we did a live stream with made this background for that live stream and then gifted it to us. So, like, I ain't gonna touch it. Plus, it makes us look professional.
Mm-hmm.
How long did it take to animate the shifting mound? I almost fell out of my chair when she first started to actually move. It's insanely cool.
Oh my gosh, thank you!
God, that was a lot of your art time for...
I'm trying to remember. I think it may have been
2 weeks?
2 weeks for all the animations?
Yeah, for all of it.
Yeah. So that's 4 separate animations.
Might have been a little less.
Yeah, there was like a gap in there where I was working on something else. I can't remember what it was.
I think it was spoiler content.
Yeah, something spoilery that needed to get done sooner. So I think it was like roughly 2 weeks with breaks, and that was... I think the longest one was like 21 frames, 22.
Yeah.
And the shortest one, of course, was only 5, because that's the...
Yeah, that one doesn't even count.
That doesn't really count.
The one where she zaps around.
Where she zaps around. The second shortest, I believe, is like 12, 15.
And it's funny, because I feel like for the initial, like, release version of the game, you probably spent, like, 20% of your total art time just doing that one animated release date trailer.
I guess I got faster, because she's a lot harder to draw.
Well, I mean, that trailer had so many more frames, though.
Yeah.
It was like a minute and change, and the whole thing was... What is the animation process like with paper drawings? You flip the papers to check the animation.
No.
But
I
you
never
use tracing
ever.
paper for
I do
those.
use tracing paper.
You'll
the
see that
flipping
soon.
your canvas thing is something I have never done, and I absolutely understand that that means that when you then have to flip, say, an animation, some of it looks maybe a little funky. But I feel like we had to flip all of these in order to kind of keep the variation going. And oh yeah,
wait, you animate on paper? Yeah, wait, do you have some of the papers
let me
of
go get some of the big
the
ones.
shifting mound stuff? Because we might as well. This background is being finished way faster than I thought it would.
Yeah,
I was gonna be like, crap, is like 2 hours enough time to do everything?
Yes. I had to draw so many of these things. Alright, hold on. This is my big stack of
There will
paper.
be a VOD for this one. I am not doing a VOD for the last live stream. It's just content that we've done many times by now, and I don't want half of like our YouTube channel to be... And here's 720p footage of the devs playing episode 1 of Scarlet Hollow. Again. Yeah, she scans it, and then that gets into Photoshop, and then you shade it in... Like, you do some of the shading in Photoshop. All the cross-hatching is done on paper.
Yeah.
And then, like, the colors, and some of the more dramatic shadows.
I've got a really big bundle of paper here, and I have to take the camera back. Alright, so these are animation shots. Ah, my floor! You can't see my floor. You might see my feet. Okay, this is a cell of animation. I've got it all paper clipped together here.
Black Taffy Games, this is the 7th show and tell in a row you've shown Scarlet Hollow Chapter 1 to the class. To be fair,
Well,
I think it's the first one.
Anyway, I drew all of these. It was difficult. Okay, I think I've shown enough, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's colors in everything, and they're all colored in Photoshop.
So then that's the other half of the work I have to do, coloring that in Photoshop.
There's a tiny handful of things that as a marketer I feel I need to find more ways to yell at people more directly about. One of them is that it's all on paper for the art. And all the art on Scarlet Hollow is also all on paper, but then the colors are done in Photoshop.
Yeah.
And the other is that Jonathan Sims voices the narrator and the voices in your head. It's like any time there is a post that's like, hey, Jonathan Sims is in this, like 50,000 people are like, oh my god, I have to buy it now! And I don't know, I thought that we got that across by now.
Back to normal.
Diner Low says this is Cuphead level of beautiful.
Oh my gosh, thank you! All of my big papers. All stacked up. This is something I just taught myself.
Who is he? Sorry, is he like the narrator to Welcome to Night Vale or something?
Yeah, or something.
Well, you see, the Magnus Archives is a podcast distributed by Rusty Quill over under a Creative Commons
License.
4.0 share alike license. Did I do that
Something-
right? Did I do the copy pasta right?
Almost. Anyway, yeah, that's a very famous podcast. But also, no.
I've never heard of it. But I heard of it when we hired Johnny.
Yes,
I think I
because
heard of it,
liked
but I don't think I'd listened yet.
No. I was the one who's like, we should get this guy.
Yes, you can buy the supporters pack, which I believe is currently discounted on Steam. I read the Steam pages for fun later like a sicko. I love reading Steam pages. There's so much to learn about there. Very helpful to study, like what works, what doesn't. Why do some pages click and others don't? There's a whole artistry to the presentation of games that
thanks,
is very difficult.
I do have to store the pages in a special way. I have to store them flat, so it took us forever to get a shelf that was big enough. Aw, thank you, Artemisia, for asking if my hand is okay. Yes, my hand is good.
Abby deadlifts.
I deadlift, so my grip strength is really strong, and that helps a lot.
Well, I think your biggest ever deadlift was 255 pounds. That sounds right.
I think so.
Pretty good.
Yes. I was definitely feeling it at the end. It's usually just at the tail end of deadlines where like it starts to cramp up a little bit, but that's just the muscle here. That's what always gets me.
One must be strong in mind and body.
Yes, I feel this way. It is important. If I
think
to
like
draw
Socrates
my pictures
said
forever,
something like that.
Well, it must be right. I thought I could have had more fun with the stripes here.
Stripes? Like at a circus?
I mean, wall normal wall. Actually, you can still have more fun. You ready for some parallel line action?
Do you draw traditionally and then scan it into the computer, or are any of the assets purely digital?
None of the assets are purely digital.
Maybe like some filters that we put over.
Oh yeah, sure, filters. But I mean, yeah, it's just like here's a haze. And I just did a semi-transparent layer for.
You mentioned on the last stream that you wanted to do a second game to support the first game. Do you feel that was successful, or Slay the Princess eclipsed the first game in a distracting way? I think it was wildly successful.
Yes, because now we can just go back to working on Scarlet Hollow in peace.
Yeah,
that's very much how it feels.
Like I think there's a couple things that are bear recognition. One of which is that just the demo of Slay the Princess getting out there and blowing up increased Scarlet Hollow's like general popularity by like a factor of 5. And I want to say like more than half of the copies we've sold of Scarlet Hollow have been since Slay the Princess came out last October, which was like 6 and change months ago. And the game had been out for years before that, so, oh, the background is just for the stream.
Exclusive.
Yeah, we wanted to show you
The
a process from start to finish for a background and sprites that go in the background. So we just came up with something new for you. A new princess. Yeah, there you go. I'm that person who clicked on check out our other game at the end of Slay the Princess, so it certainly worked on me.
Nice. Yeah, and it's the kind of thing where also, it just has given us a lot of creative freedom. So.
Yeah. Like, we don't have to worry about funding the rest of Scarlet Hollow at this point.
Yeah, which has always been the issue with, like, not being able to finish projects, or not finish, but, like, spend all of our time working on them, is just, like, making sure that we have the bills paid.
Right. And then, like, making sure some of the Scarlet Hollow deadlines were particularly brutal and breakneck.
Yeah, the episode 4
because
deadline.
we needed to get something out to get another like shot in the arm for the game's like longevity and audience.
So now we can take our time and not like have go through the process of one of those deadlines. I'm just too old for it now.
Y'all are here. Do people want to just hear a new track from the Pristine Cut? I hear some new music.
Yeah.
Here, I'll do a poll.
Do you want to hear new music? Is that the poll?
Yeah. Do you want to hear
Let's see
new
what the
music?
numbers are on that.
Hell yes. No. Go back to comfort tunes. Or no, silence only. Let's see how people feel. Well, you know, this is a democracy, except for when it's not. Wait, Abby, are you just... Oh, okay, you were just perfectly still there. Silent stream. Alright, people want it. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, we could do a silent one, and instead of talking, I can just write little notes to the audience.
Make this a bit louder here, too.
Sorry, I keep reading the chat. I want to see what people are saying.
We cannot make any announcements about when the Pristine Cut is coming out. Just stay tuned. Slay the Princess Unreal Engine 5 update when? Oh, are you the person who's drawing the princess every day on Twitter? I've really enjoyed your posts.
Excellent work.
I'm glad you're prepared for the long haul. Anyways, there you go. There's a new track. And with that, I will turn the Streamlabs audio down some more. So we can go back to other stuff. Let's get some Scarlet Hollow in here.
A lot of people ask me how I draw straight lines confidently. You pull from the shoulder. You keep your elbow locked. And you don't bend your wrist.
Is there any part of the development process you particularly dislike? I think, for me, I've really enjoyed working with our voice actors, but I really hate editing the files that we get. Mostly it's just there are so many of them, and it is just like, it's the type of work that's just like, here is a series of tasks you have to do from beginning to end. You have to be really attentive to it, and it's so long. So, like, for reference, the narrator usually has the longest files for a single route, and each route I will have about an hour of narrator files to go through, and then it's like picking the right takes and editing little sounds out of them and all that other stuff. It's like a 1 hour file might take me 5 or 6 hours to get into the game. You can also report bugs on Steam. Discord is the easiest way for me to keep track of things because I just have like a rolling list there. Like, you could also report them via email, but I much prefer Discord and the pinned post on the Steam discussion boards. Abby, do you do any physical hand stretches before you start work?
Not really. If it starts to hurt at all, then I do the this one and like rotating each finger against a wall. So I don't have to do it very often right now. I should probably do it every time, but it doesn't really bother me. So
listening to Jonathan Sims in your ear for several hours ASMR. Yeah.
That's the video game.
Or, sorry, like for editing a file.
Oh.
Yeah, it stops being ASMR at some point.
Tony.
Man's got a lovely voice, but my sanity can only take so much.
Yeah, Tony starts getting the audio madness where all he can hear is like the saliva moving around in people's mouths. And he'll stop like a movie or something and be like, "Did you hear that? Did you hear it? The click? The weird swishing sounds?"
Yeah, any YouTube video. We all make mouth sounds and we know to filter them out, but when you're listening for them, it's like you can't unhear them for weeks. God, and then it's like, there's a few segments in Slay the Princess that have driven me insane. Having to write so many iterations of the mirror, both in Chapter 2 and Chapter 3, was maddening, but it's one of those things where it's like, well, I have to keep in mind that the Chapter 2 ones are optional, even if every single time I watch a stream, the streamer interacts with the mirror in Chapter 2, each time, hoping this time it'll be different. And then Chapter 3, I don't know. It's just, it gets repetitive. It's an inherently repetitive script, and it feels more repetitive when you're the one writing it because you have to see and hold every possible outcome at once. Why put mirror if not for look? And look, I think it's a very, very necessary symbolic tool in the game. Sometimes I wonder how some of the lines were like going into the studio, just like, yeah, can you just scream into the mic as loud and agonizingly as possible? Yeah, will say, oh man, for those screams, Nicole, I don't know if you're still in chat, but Nicole is like fucking killer at those screams. If you ever need a voice actress to give a blood-curdling scream, she is the best. There's some good screams in the Pristine Cut. I'll say that much.
Absolutely.
For the dyslexia settings, is that the way the text scales if you both switch the font and switch the size? I think that's just something that is a little, unfortunately, screwy with Ren'Py. We rely on them for our accessibility tools, and I think specifically where it goes wrong is the game naturally uses like a bunch of different fonts for like different menus and characters, and like what's a 25-point font in one of them suddenly is just the same size as a 40-point font in another. And as far as I can tell, there's no way for me to say, if you're switching everything to Open Dyslexic, just default the font to this size. I'll look under the hood and see if there's something I can do there. But there are so many areas with development on these games where it's like this and Scarlet Hollow, where it's like, we have unfortunately pushed Ren'Py to a limit here. I don't know how much more we can bend it. But I will take a look this coming week and see if there's anything I can do.
Thanks for saying the art's looking good. Thank you.
Yeah, truly one of our strengths as a studio is that Abby is somehow capable of moving at the speed of 5, 10 people.
Oh,
Something like that.
Sweet. Well, it helps that it's pencil. And yes, by the way, my hand is getting dusty. I always
Ben!
have to...
Ben and Abby. I'm no Ben. There's
Who's
no...
Ben?
We're not Black Babby games. That'd be funny. Or... Any? Yeah.
Baby.
Ben Abby games. It's funny. All the different frequent ways people think my name is something else. The most common one, and this has come from like journalists on a number of occasions, where they'll just say my name is Toby.
Gotta go watch this now.
How is Babby formed? Oh, don't worry. Sorry to call you out. It's mostly just funny. Yeah, no, there have been some articles, I think, that have gone out where it just lists my name as Toby. Oh, Wahoo says, this is a bit off topic, but thank you guys for introducing me to 1,000 Times Resist. I don't think I would have been aware of it without your tweet. Oh, yeah. Happy to. We're in the process of, I think, getting through the end game right now. There's some really, really, really good stuff in it. Good game. Highly recommend you pick it up.
It's Sprite time. Which means I get to use my washi tape. This is a little prize that I got for myself.
Tabitha's name is, funnily enough, not related to our company name, intentionally. We originally named her Beatrice and then realized that...
Too close to Night in the Woods.
Too close to the grumpy alligator from Night in the Woods. So we scratched our heads for a while and came up with Tabitha, which we also liked. And then... did you draw the connection with our company name when Tabby was her nickname, or did it take someone asking that question?
No, it was obvious. Sorry, someone's asking about the tracing paper. This is what I use. It's called vellum, and this is the weight that I use, the size and whatnot, and the brand, because all of those things matter a lot when you're dealing with paper types. You want it to feel good, and this is the best one. Though it's very transparent. Sometimes I like it to be a little less transparent.
Man, anyway. I should really get around to Umineko. I'm intimidated by the length.
It, right?
Yeah, I started it, but then it's also like, it's 100 hours of reading. And I have not had time to really do anything other than comfort games for the past few months. Yeah, I think 13 Sentinels is the next one on our to-do list. And then Umineko is there. There's some other, like, giant thing that I was going to read.
Sorry, I was going to talk about the graphite thing. So, on the deadline last October, I was just washing my hands so frequently and getting like pencil dust on my hand so often that it started bleeding and cracking open. So
some of the art in the game literally has your blood on it.
I kept getting blood on the paper, and then I would have to go just patch it up for a little bit and keep going.
So, okay, so I've tried getting into Steins Gate multiple times, and I just keep bouncing on it. I think it's just like... I don't know, there's something about the vibe that isn't for me. I can't quite put my finger on it. So I played through the first Ace Attorney games when I was in like middle school and early high school. I liked those a lot. I've struggled to kind of get back into them as an adult. I've tried a couple times. I think part of it is just like the puzzle gets tired. Alright. I am so sorry, Maskernan. Maskernan asks, how many games did you dev before you went commercial? Going to give the most frustrating answer possible. Scarlet Hollow was our first game. In response to, I think, the Steins Gate thing. I don't know, maybe not your style. What about Saya no Uda? At least that's shocking. We like Song of Saya.
Yeah, I like Song of Saya. Sorry.
Always feel the need to apologize. I mean, it's a good story that has there's some gratuitousness in it.
Oh well.
It's not one that I would enthusiastically go recommending to people, even if I think it is an excellent work of art.
Yes, one more to discuss with people who have already sought it out themselves.
What's the most important game writing or general writing advice you've ever been given? An unfinished game sells 0 copies. It's more important to get in the process of finishing things so you can grow from that process than it is to agonize over getting something perfect on your first try.
Don't look at her face. I know what you mean. I have to be really careful about like erasing things on this paper, so sometimes if I've thoroughly messed up a frame of a sprite enough, like this one has a big eraser streak on it, I just start over. At this point I've given up on trying to just like make sure I save every scrap of paper possible.
Chad is going nuts right now, by the way, Abby. No way, actual Clown Princess.
I don't know what you're
Clown
talking
Princess
about.
is real.
This is how she always looks. Let's see. I haven't actually designed it. I am designing her as I draw, so.
I'm sure you already thought of this, Abby, but is her crown going to be like a balloon animal crown?
Perhaps it is.
Extremely unrelated, but Abby, your tattoo is very cool.
Oh, thank you! It was done by a friend of mine. It's got bones in it. It pokes out of my sleeve. It is a rat snake. Yeah, it's EK Chan. If you're ever in Toronto and want to book an appointment, they're extremely good, especially if you like nature. I went to university with them. We were both in the natural history area.
Ayu Oseki asks, how long ago did you get that, Abby?
3 years, I want to say? A little less than 3? It was like roughly when we moved here. I've never in my life drawn a balloon animal. We'll see how it goes. Not that I'm doing that or anything, you know.
Do you guys have any device for developing and designing characters? Basically, character writing tips.
Ooh, imagine someone you know, personally. It doesn't always work for people, because sometimes it's very hard to, you know, get a solid grasp on that anyway. But just, like, imagine one of your friends, and perhaps also imagine a collection of interests that they might have. Not that you even ever have to bring those up, but it's just helpful to kind of have an exercise where you flesh out what this character does when they aren't on screen. And I think that that helps a lot.
And I think with those interests, it could be helpful to ask the why.
Yeah.
Why is this person interested in this thing? Sometimes you'll decide an interest just because it's like a vibe you have, like, oh, I think this person would like this show or whatever, but then you can ask yourself, okay, but like, why? Why is this a thing that they connect with?
Yeah, because then it can inform the way that you kind of are starting to construct the character. So, yeah.
Like in Scarlet Hollow, Kanika is into a bunch of like isekai anime, and it's like
Because she doesn't like to be in her town.
Right. She feels stuck, so she wants to leave that.
And she wants somebody to just whisk her away so she doesn't have to worry about her responsibilities, or, you know, the responsibilities others have foisted on her. As the oldest.
Just trying to imagine what voice Nicole will do for a clown princess.
I think I can imagine that. I feel like she's done one before.
Dome Reaper is rating with a party of 33. Hi,
Oh,
Dome
hi!
Reaper.
What's up? Thank you so much.
Asking how's the art going. The art's going great.
Doing Sprite.
This is fun because it's like no stakes art. This
Yeah.
is not going into the game.
It can look like anything I want it to.
Which also means we don't have to worry about giving things away. Which is always a concern with art streams and marketing in general. No, there is not going to be a clown princess in the pristine cut, so I guess you can scratch that one off the list. We're doing something where it's just we wanted to show you the process of designing like a princess in a background on stream.
This is how you draw a roughly skirt, by the way. You just draw a squiggly line, then you put other lines on it.
The amount of people being shocked by clown princess being fake. See, this is why there's no clown princess going in the pristine cut. The Razor does fill that role.
She's silly.
She's silly. She pulls pranks
antics
on you. Most of the antics and pranks are stabbing you.
But I mean, what is a pie in the face but a kind of stab?
People just want Rule 63 Pennywise.
I am sure that you can find that. I'm sure the fine people of the web.
What kind of pie does Razor have?
It's one of them coconut cream pies.
It's one of those ones that has razor blades in it that
Oh,
they
or
always
the-
warn you about on Halloween.
Yeah, the pies, definitely, that people hand out on Halloween, Tony. Anyway, or like one of them acid pies from Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I'm looking at the chat. Because of the pie filling. That's a funny joke. Now I can reload the under one so I can see what I'm working with here. Anyway, I get myself these fancy little washi tapes so that I can tape up my pieces of paper so that they don't fall off my desk while I'm working on them. Because of course these are wildly flimsy. Ah! Speaking of, it just did so. Anyway, but it's fun to be able to give myself a little treat like that. Nice little tape. Fancy little designs on it. This is this one. It's like gold and it has these flowers.
You try to stab her, but the pristine blade turns into a balloon in your hand.
I'm like debating giving her a little rough, but I think for one thing I've never successfully drawn one of those. And also, she doesn't have one of those as the normal princess. It's not one of her items. This is how I keep the character shape kind of consistent. She always has the same little front hair situation. She always has a three-pronged crown, roughly the same shape of eye, and this dress cut of shoulders out. That's the princess, as far as I'm concerned. There should be more ruffles under here. I don't need reference for this. I know how to draw poofy sleeves.
Do you?
Maybe.
Tracing paper looks so scary to draw on. So thin.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. Very easy to rip this. And, yeah, erasing on it is very, very difficult. I often have to erase digitally some of the kind of little leftover bits because it'll just leave a big shadow that you can't even necessarily see until you've scanned it in. Like the scanner picks it up, but I can't, so... So you have to make sure you know what you're doing when you start. Kind of looks like a flamenco dancer. It's okay, I'll add the polka dots and then it'll definitely read as clown only. I was thinking of putting like a leg up and having one of her big shoes out, but I don't think the shape would work as well. Sometimes you gotta hide the big shoes. Those are for later.
See you, Dome Reaper. Thanks for
Thank
stopping
you so
by.
much for being here. Thank you. Have a good day. Princess has big boobs. This is something that's important to each version of the princess. I make their boobs different sizes. It's important to the character. Just like those lineups of anime girls where that's the only thing that's different between them.
Which characters, both games, are the easiest and hardest to draw/design?
Let's see. Fury is not like...
She's really annoying to color.
She's very annoying to color. Drawing the meat part is like, it's more work than your average princess. Definitely more work than something like the damsel, who is probably the easiest once I got the hang of her. Not the deconstructed damsel. That takes concentration. I gotta make sure I really nail the look of really, middle school level. Just learning how to draw anime from a book, kind of. Illustration. But the Fury just has so much going on. Probably the really, of course, the hardest one to draw is the swords version of Razor. All swords. It's just a lot, and her chest piece is a really weird shape. So working on that is difficult. And I'm glad I only had to draw her for so long, and I'm never drawing her ever again. Wow, you found Apotheosis easiest. That's interesting. I always feel getting her size kind of translation correct was always the difficult part.
Deconstructed Damsel was my first princess in my very first playthrough. The art style shift you did for her made me go from, oh, this game is interesting, to, oh wow, this is fantastic, and I want to see every single bit of it.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing! The shape on that. Shape language bad. Please erase good, I pray. Pretty good. Okay. That's better.
The detuned audio track during the Deconstructed Damsel part was really good. Yeah, I think Brandy did a lot of really interesting things with the music throughout the game. Really pushing what can we get out of one motif to its absolute limits. I just want to say that I really love the direction this game went into from the demo to now, especially with the Stranger. Oh, I'm so glad that you enjoy the final version of The Stranger. We frequently get comments being like, "Look, the new one's fine, but where's the meat Muppet? Where's the bugs?"
So thank you so much for liking her final iteration. I feel it's the best version of her because it's the only version that ever actually managed to come together in a way that was interesting enough for us to
Yeah. I feel someone was asking for like games writing advice earlier and writing advice in general, and I think one of the things that remains the most effective for us is we are constantly looking at what we make and what the process feels like to us, and if something feels like it isn't working or it feels like it isn't fun to create, we just cut it and we start from scratch, and we're a little mercenary there. But I feel like if you don't do that, you get stuck with ideas that can drag your concept out too long and that can cut into other parts of what you're doing that are much more impactful.
Wait. Oh my god. Oh my god. Sorry. I'd never do that. I promise. No one saw that. See, this is definitely something where I would have to do a lot of edits in post to make sure that this eraser mark didn't show up. Sometimes when working in pencil, you have to like get your guide down, and then you can have to erase your guides such that they don't show up in the final. And that means you have to do a lot of things. Yes, that is a good way to see this princess, honestly. She is part of the shifting mound also. You just don't see her. But she's in there.
Hey, you can pretend which one of the many bodies in the climax is actually her. Maybe she's the one that gets hit by the knife in the contrarian ending. We have like self-reported data on the first pick. It's actually a very even spread. I want to say Damsel is the most popular and Stranger is the second most popular. And then ones that are kind of harder to get, like Beast, are very much towards the bottom.
No, we get some people who don't like that they can get the stranger first. They're like, I feel like I stumbled into the middle of a game, and it's like, well, you did decide to just keep turning around forever, so... Narrator said don't do it. I don't know what you want. Should have just listened. Oh god, I've never drawn whipped cream before.
You've never drawn whipped cream before. Which princess would win in a fight? I mean, let's wait until the Pristine Cut comes out to do power scaling.
Yeah.
Ignoring the inevitable, well, the shifting mount is all of them at the same time. So
She
would
doesn't
win.
count.
Yeah,
She's
she
not
doesn't
allowed
count.
in the fight. There, she got me a pie.
Which simply wins using her poison damage. Dev's nerf.
Reading chat until I have to go. Gotta wash my hand again. This is how it goes.
Now that we have numbers, how many sprites are... How many illustrations are in the Pristine Cut compared to the base game? It's like 325 in the base game.
Now I gotta give my hand a second to fully dry.
Wow, so yeah, there's 40% more art in the Pristine Cut compared to the base game.
40%? Oh my
40%.
god, that's really close to 50.
Almost 1,300 new illustrations. Bringing the grand total to like 5,500 illustrations for the whole game.
I drew that. It was many. I'm reading the chat because I want to see people say, wow. My hand is good. But thank you for checking.
No, 5,500, not 55,000.
Oh god.
Remove a zero, but it's still a lot.
Oh, thank you. I mean, it sounds
And
like
not
a lot.
just as one person, but I think Abby did about 7 months of full-time work on Slay the Princess from conception to release, and then the Pristine Cut, that art was like maybe another 3 months, so less than a year.
Being a cartoonist, it trains you well.
So the Pristine Cut adds 3 brand new chapter 3s, and then it has significant extensions and overhauls to 3 of the more anemic pre-existing chapter 3s. So the Fury and Apotheosis and Den are significantly extended.
Significantly being the operative word.
Yeah, by significantly, like, I want to say, like, the Apotheosis has, like, maybe 3 or 4 times as much content as the base game. That, you know, includes the whole Conversation in the Woods, maybe more. And the Fury has, like, maybe 6 times as much content. What princess was the hardest to work on?
Ooh.
So, I mean, I think there's a lot of angles for that. There's the art angle, there's the writing angle, there's the...
Yeah, the writing angle is one of the unannounced princesses for sure. That one was really hard.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that one takes the cake. Better. Yes. I'm not even using reference for the... Oh god. Sorry, it was resembling something I did not want it to resemble.
If I can ask something, I hear from you. Why does the shifting mountain cover the eyes of the princesses she collects? That was a you decision.
Felt correct.
Felt right?
Yeah, there are a lot of things that I do because the design feels correct, like it robs them of their identity. I think that's the big reason, is kind of like covering the eyes is, no, that's not important anymore. They are a body, they are part of me, I am what's important, and I can't reveal myself to you.
Also, like, all of those interstitial scenes, the character is kind of groping in the dark, you know? So I think removing sight is an effective way to get that across.
A space where all are blind, but she is not. Perhaps.
Oh, I think she knows that she's blind. But she also does view not necessarily herself as more important than the vessels, but, you know, it's kind of like, how do you view a cell in your body? Not the same way you view your actual self. How do you keep your hands so still? I keep thinking the stream's frozen, but your hand is just very still.
Oh, I have actually tried wearing gloves before when drawing, and it is just a little bit of a cumbersome thing. Like, you know, the thing where it's like, if you alter anything about the way you hold a pencil, suddenly your drawings are all wobbly and weird. I don't know if that's a universal issue. I think so. Because some people have to get those ergonomic, like, holdy things for their pens. And I've heard it's like trying to have to learn to draw with a pool noodle. And that sounds terrible. But it was similar like that with me for gloves, because I had to wear them to every now and then, when I was working on the Earth Before Us series, have to travel and do coloring on it with a little tablet thing, because I colored those digitally, because I had no other way to do it. And oh my god, it was so frustrating, because it just felt different, and the art looked different because of it. I didn't like that. I also think then the glove would just be covered in it. Like, I don't think there's really any way around that. And I haven't had too many issues with smudging. I usually work from like this corner of the page down, and like sometimes there's some smudging, but it kind of adds character every now and then. This is why I'm very fast. It is because I'm like, who cares? I'm getting the art done. I think that's the big secret to being fast, is to just say, oh well, it's done enough.
When it came to picking the princesses you went with, how did you pick? Like, there are so many horror genres or monster tropes that you could have gone with. What kind of philosophy guided you as you narrowed it down to just a select few? I mean, I think it was just what felt thematically relevant for what we were exploring. The writing for the game very much had like a choice consequences type of flow to it, i.e., okay, chapter 1, you take the knife when you're upstairs. How does that change things? You hesitate before you stab her. How does that change things? You lock her away. How does that change things? And the way chapter 2s flowed into chapter 3s were often just, you know, the same thing applied. You already have this surface level relationship with the character. You do this action, how does that change things? How does that change the design?
Yeah, I feel a lot of it also, like, kind of stylistically and everything is more folklore based than necessarily horror trope based. And, like, for sure I have absolutely added in horror elements across the board, but having kind of like a folklore start, I think, made a lot of sense for what Slay the Princess is and how the game is just structured.
Yeah, and then the chapter 3s, like, they would always have to borrow something from the design of the chapter 2, or if they were an intersection of two princesses, like, they would have to borrow something reminiscent of both designs. So, like, the Wraith has a lot of the Nightmare's dark colors and her aggression, but then she has the spectral appearance of the Spectre. Abby, question. When you're standing with a damsel by the door, wondering how to open it, I think the highlight in her eyes looks like a rose. Was that intentional?
No. But that's great. I'll lie and say yes, yes.
The subconscious mind is a mystery.
Yes, it's just my artistic subconscious. That's all. Does buying the point shop stuff support you guys?
No. But it reps the brand, so go for it. Yeah. If you want to support us in a Slay the Princess related fashion, save up for a bit. We'll have some stuff for you at some point in the future. When? Who knows? At some point, though.
We don't know.
Will the final choices of episode 5 of Scarlet Hollow be worse than episode 4? Why do people come in always wanted spoilers for things? We'll find out.
My hope is everything feels much worse with each subsequent episode. That's the hope.
I think how bad a given choice feels will be dependent on who the player is.
That is true. A lot of people... what I've learned from Scarlet Hollow and Slay the Princess is that you can't predict really anything, except I did predict that people would love the Thorn, so never mind. You can predict some things.
I thought they would love the Razor, that they would like the game.
Yeah.
Wow, I can't listen to the original version of Apotheosis anymore without the
You've
strings.
been ruined by the live version.
Or this one too.
What was I gonna say?
What's Scarlet Hollow? Scarlet Hollow is our other game. Buy it on Steam for 20% off, or 32% off if you already own Slay the Princess and buy it with the bundle.
And it's an episodic horror game. We're on episode 4 of 7. And
episode 4 of 7 is out. We're on episode 5 of 7.
Yeah, it's hard to phrase that. Oh yeah, here, this is a good tutorial on roughly dresses. I'm not like amazing at them, but I at least know how to do them. You just draw this squiggly line where it's got like kind of a puzzle piece thing going on, and then you just draw upward lines from that, from the edges of them, and then it makes it into a skirt. It's magic. And then you can go back in and do these little things, and then it really looks like fabric. Oh, thank you. I've learned from many anime artists who put tutorials on Twitter. Oh yeah, we are still planning on making Sybil a romance option. Like, she was always going to be one. This is a thing we were finally able to reveal. It's just a little teaser for upcoming episodes, perhaps.
Weed gilf available to all.
Even though I guess she's technically only a MILF. But she just has the vibe of a gilf is the thing. And even somebody who's got no kids can be a MILF, so that means somebody who doesn't have grandkids can be a gilf. This is just equality, it's how it works.
Princess getting the biggest rework, other than the Fury, is probably the Apotheosis. Her route in the game as is so short, so,
Yeah, lots of new stuff to explore there.
Yeah, like, she and the Fury have a similar amount of art assets in the Pristine Cut, so yeah. I think they're both tied for chapters with the most art in them.
And those are going to be, like, kind of, as a heads up, of course, like, breadth versus depth, necessarily. Though actually, I'm not sure. Some of these are pretty long. Who knows? Mysteries. Not even we know. For it is impossible for us to accurately gauge how people are going to interact with the game at this point. We have no idea how outside observers see it, except for people say that they have a good time. So I think they have a good time, if they're to be believed.
Sure.
Okay, time for polka dots.
Everyone always wants to kiss all the princesses. There's even more intimate forms of intimacy in the game as is.
Yeah,
I think one of the ones I find most astounding is when people are like, can you add romance to the adversary route? And it's like, it is right there. It's called you fight each other forever.
Yeah, I think I do want a lot of people to know that I think you can kind of romance basically every princess.
I would say all of them are romanceable.
Yeah.
Except, like, I don't know, the Greys are kind of the aftermath of a romance.
Yeah, like, oops, you messed up. She's taking out her vengeance on you.
Or whatever it is
but
the burned one does.
The Wraith, I absolutely think being possessed is the romance route. Same with Spectre. Like, gosh, that is so much more intimate than a kiss. IMO. Anyway, that's something I like to explore in art. You see, smooching is for mere mortals. And when you are gods, there is so much more to explore.
Toll the Ravens, thank you for subscribing.
Sorry, I'm reading chat. Oh, thank you for saying my polka dots look good. Some stripes. Time to draw stripes on a skirt with a bunch of foldies in it. More simple than you might think. As long as you just, picture it as a perfect 3D object in your mind and then wrap a stripe around it. So nice, Crush Circuit. Yeah, the long quiet, just drawing all of that, the lines, is so much fun. I don't think I've made any for Fun Princesses besides this one. I think it's the first one, because I've had to work on the actual game itself. So, in my off time, I wanted to draw anything but princesses. Off screen there, but I am sure when Scarlet Hollow is done, I will definitely be putting those in an art book, because I think art books are just a good thing for games that are so art heavy.
Yeah, and I mean, we are doing an art book for Scarlet Hollow.
Yeah, definitely.
That one, like that was something people could get as an add-on with Backer Kit a while back.
Yeah. So.
If you are one of those people, do not worry. We both
Yeah.
have your info, and when it is time to do an art book, I will be emailing a follow-up to be like, it's been 5 years. Where do you live now?
Yeah.
But
so don't worry. You have still spent that money.
It's one of those things where it's just like, well, we're not going to do an art book until the game is done, because why would we?
And now triangles, like funfetti.
Will we be doing a Slay the Princess art book? Maybe.
Who's to say?
Who's to say?
Spoons is sitting on her little chair.
She's sleeping.
She turned 13 this year. I think I've been saying she's 13 for a while though, but now it's really true.
Yeah, I should do a Mother's Day post. Who are the best mothers in our games?
Well,
is the Shifting Mound a mother?
Hmm. No.
Are the vessels not children?
Okay.
Well, look, I don't know. I'm asking. You know, hold on.
Yeah,
hold
do a
on,
poll.
hold on. Poll.
I mean, they're gonna. But who knows? Maybe they don't.
Let's see what people think. The options are yes, a mommy, but not a mother, and absolutely not.
That's good. That's good. Filter out the people who would do that mommy thing.
Look, I mean, it's an important
yeah, it's
distinction.
Different. It's different.
It would be funny to do a Happy Mother's Day tweet that's just a picture of Pearl Ann's corpse.
Yay!
But I think that's
It's
rude.
too icky. I think people would think it was gross. And they would think we have something against moms when I love my mom.
In Winding Infinity, yes, the possibility for her to be a mother is possible. Wow, this is tight. Oh yeah, Dustin mom.
There we go. And of course, there's always Joan. Okay, well, this is what it looks like with the background. I tried to take my time with the clown, but unfortunately, I'm just so fast. This is what she looks like on the background. Of course, it's probably a little hard to see due to the fact that it's semi-transparent paper. Ah, thank you. Here, I'll take the background away. Her house and what she looks like. Thanks, everybody. Oh gosh, that was all we had planned.
Alright, well, that's fine. I'm okay having a shorter stream.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, everyone, for stopping by. VOD will be up later.
And perhaps I will scan this in tomorrow.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Color it a little bit. And then you can see the final.
Alright. Well, thank you again. And we'll see you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Bye-bye.